If you've ever found yourself the subject of gossip, criticism, or rumors, congratulations. That means you're doing something worth noticing. You see, people don't waste their breath on what doesn't matter. The fact that you're being talked about is a clear indicator you're rising. They talked about you. Good. That's a sign you're moving. That's a sign you're disrupting comfort zones, pushing past limits, stepping into rooms they never imagined you'd enter. But here's what you must understand. Not all conversations are meant to reach your ears. Don't waste your strength chasing whispers. Don't let someone's opinion become your prison. Your identity is not up for public vote. You were called for more, designed with purpose, and set apart for greatness. When you step into your calling, don't expect silence, expect noise, expect tension, expect to be misunderstood, because elevation brings visibility, and visibility brings commentary. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Because while they're discussing you, God is developing you. Sometimes the people talking are the ones too afraid to step into their own potential. So they try to shrink yours. But don't shrink to make them comfortable. Stand tall in your assignment. Walk bold in your mission. And don't clap back at every insult. Don't try to justify yourself to every doubter. That's not your job. Your job is to build, grow, move forward. You don't need validation from voices that weren't in the room when God gave you the vision. Let the chatter be your confirmation. You're being talked about. Then you're right on schedule. That means you're shaking the atmosphere. And anything that shakes the norm gets noticed. So don't run from the noise. Rise through it. Don't dim your light because it makes others squint. Shine brighter. Because the truth is, people talk about what they can't control, can't contain, and can't compete with. Let them talk. You've got a purpose to fulfill. Keep walking. Being talked about often signals impact. Think about that for a moment. If nobody's speaking your name, if nobody's whispering behind your back, if nobody has an opinion about your journey, then it may be a sign that you're not disrupting anything, not challenging the norm, not pushing the boundaries you were born to cross. Silence can sometimes mean invisibility. But when you start making moves, when you start walking in purpose, when you begin breaking cycles and breaking limits, people start noticing. And when they notice, they talk. Now, this isn't always comfortable. It can feel unfair. After all, you're just trying to live your life, pursue your dreams, and grow into the person you were created to be. You're not looking for attention. You're looking for alignment. You're not trying to prove anything. You're trying to fulfill something. But that's what impact does. It causes ripples. It shifts the atmosphere. And any time there's a shift, it makes people uneasy. Because people get comfortable with sameness. They understand the predictable. But when you start walking with clarity, when your life starts reflecting confidence and direction, it stands out. And what stands out gets talked about. Don't misread the conversations. Don't let the chatter discourage you. In fact, you should start seeing it as confirmation. You're not invisible anymore. Your growth is being recognized, even by those who pretend not to see it. Some people talk about you because your presence reminds them of their own inaction. Your progress exposes their procrastination. Your discipline highlights their excuses. So instead of clapping for you, they critique you. Instead of learning from you, they label you. But that's not a reflection of who you are. It's a mirror of who they are. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to respond. Silence is not surrender. It's wisdom. It's knowing that your energy is too valuable to waste on proving your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When you're truly focused on your path, you'll realize that the opinions of others lose their power. You're not moved by noise when your eyes are on the vision. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them twist the narrative. Your job is not to manage their perceptions. Your job is to walk in your purpose. And here's the powerful truth sometimes. The very people who talk about you today will talk to you tomorrow. Because time reveals character. Time exposes truth. When you keep moving forward, when you stay grounded in who you are, when you continue to show up with integrity, your consistency speaks louder than any rumor ever could. You don't need to advertise your intentions. Your fruit will speak. Your results will speak. Your peace will speak. So if you're being talked about, don't hang your head. Lift it. That's a crown on your head, not a weight. You're walking in a space many are afraid to enter. You're carrying something that demands attention. Keep building. Keep believing. And never forget, being talked about is not a sign of failure. It's often the first sign that you're becoming a force. Criticism is the price of influence. The more light you carry, the more shadows you'll cast, and shadows don't exist without light. The moment you decide to live with intention, to rise above mediocrity, to walk boldly in your calling, criticism becomes part of the journey. It's not always fair, it's not always accurate, and it's rarely comfortable, but it's real. And instead of fearing it, you must learn how to interpret it. Because not all criticism is an attack. Sometimes it's a sign that you're hitting the mark. People don't throw stones at empty fields. They throw them at fruit-bearing trees. When your life begins to inspire, challenge, or disrupt the norm, expect resistance. Influence doesn't come without friction. The moment you become a voice in the world, whether in your family, your community, your career, or your purpose, you will also become a target. That's because people are often uncomfortable with what they don't understand or what they can't control. Your growth may look like rebellion to someone who's used to seeing you small. Your success may look like arrogance to someone who gave up on their dreams. Your strength may be perceived as pride by someone still fighting to find their own worth. The truth is, criticism isn't always about you. It's often about what you represent. You represent change. You represent courage. You represent progress. And progress makes people reflect on where they are. Some will be inspired by your journey. Others will be intimidated by it. But both groups will talk. That's the price of being influential. And you must decide whether you're going to let that price stop you or propel you. You don't need to water yourself down to avoid criticism. You don't need to hide your gifts so others can feel comfortable. You weren't created to fit in. You were called to stand out. And standing out will always make you a subject of conversation. But here's what you need to remember. Greatness and criticism go hand in hand. Look through history, through leadership, through innovation. Every trailblazer was criticized. Every person who made an impact faced resistance. Not because they were doing something wrong, but because they were doing something new. Something bold, something others couldn't ignore. It's easy to clap for someone when they're at the bottom. It doesn't threaten anyone. But the moment you rise, the moment you succeed, the moment you make bold decisions, they'll start questioning your motives, picking apart your moves, and dissecting your words. Don't let it shake you. Let it sharpen you. Let it be a reminder that your presence has weight, that your words carry influence, that your actions are being observed. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Let your life answer the criticism. You don't have to fight with words when your results speak for themselves. You don't have to explain yourself when your impact is undeniable. And above all, don't let the fear of criticism shrink your calling. Influence isn't about pleasing everyone. It's about fulfilling your assignment. So if the cost of your influence is a few critics along the way, pay the price gladly. Because in the end, you're not living for applause. You're living for purpose. People talk from their level, not yours. What that means is simple but powerful. When others speak about you, judge you, or try to define your worth, they often do it from the lens of their own experiences, limitations, and insecurities. Their words are shaped by their mindset. Their perspective is filtered through their own fears, failures, and frustrations. So when you hear someone belittle your dream or question your purpose, remember, they're not speaking from a place of knowing your potential. They're speaking from a place of not knowing their own. This is why it's dangerous to let other people's opinions become your truth. Because some people will never see what you see. They don't have the vision you were given. They weren't in the room when God whispered purpose into your soul. They didn't feel the fire that was lit inside of you. And because they don't understand it, they'll often downplay it. But understand this, when someone can't reach your level, they may try to pull you down to theirs. Not always out of malice, sometimes out of habit, sometimes out of fear, sometimes because they haven't yet discovered what they're capable of. You've got to stop shrinking your vision to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Stop apologizing for dreaming bigger than others can imagine. Just because someone doesn't see the value in your journey doesn't mean it's not valuable. Their view is limited, not your destiny. You're being built for something beyond what they can comprehend. And that's okay. It's not your job to make them understand. It's your job to keep moving, keep growing, and keep becoming. When someone speaks negativity over your goals, don't absorb it, observe it. Recognize that they're projecting. They might be dealing with unresolved pain. They might be struggling with comparison. They might be wrestling with their own path. And instead of addressing that, they deflect it onto you. Don't take it personally. It's not always about you. It's about what you represent. You represent possibility. You represent potential. You represent what's possible when someone decides not to settle. The higher you climb, the more you'll realize that not everyone has the capacity to come with you, and that's okay. Not everyone was meant to. Elevation requires separation. And sometimes that separation reveals how differently people think, how differently they speak, and how differently they perceive progress. You're not arrogant because you're aiming high. You're aware. You're not selfish because you're focused. You're faithful to your mission. And if someone misreads your confidence as pride or your drive as disrespect, that says more about their lens than your heart. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. Your calling is unique. Your process is personal. Your journey is yours. So when the voices come, the doubters, the critics, the naysayers, pause and remember they're talking from their level. But you're walking toward yours. Keep your eyes on the vision. Keep your heart grounded in truth. And keep reminding yourself that you don't have to explain the mountain to people who've never left the valley. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Just don't let them limit you. Silence does not equal weakness. In a world that constantly encourages noise, quick reactions and public responses, choosing to stay silent can often be misunderstood. People might assume you're avoiding the issue, lacking courage, or afraid to speak up, but real strength isn't always found in loud words or fast replies. It's found in restraint, wisdom, and discipline. Silence, when intentional, is not a sign of fear. It's a reflection of maturity. It's the strength to know when to speak and when to stay still. It's the power to hold your peace when chaos surrounds you. There's a difference between being silent and being silenced. Being silenced means you're being forced into stillness. But choosing silence is a decision. It's a strategy. It's understanding that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every comment deserves a reply. Not every insult needs your attention. Silence can be a shield. It protects your mental peace. It guards your focus. It preserves your dignity. Because sometimes speaking back only brings you down to the level of those trying to distract you. And you're not called to react to everything. You're called to rise above it. When you're focused on your assignment, when you're walking in purpose, distractions will come disguised as arguments, debates, and drama. But silence reminds you of your higher ground. It teaches you to choose battles wisely. Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. Just because you're being talked about doesn't mean you need to respond. When you're secure in who you are, when you're clear on what you're building, you understand that silence can be more powerful than any statement. It speaks volumes without uttering a word. There's wisdom in staying still while the storm passes. People might accuse you, misjudge you, or even lie about you. But silence says, I don't need to prove myself. I know who I am. Let them throw words while you build foundations. Let them gossip while you grow. Let them speculate while you stay solid. Because when your fruit starts showing, your silence will be understood. The outcome will speak louder than anything you could have said in defense. Silence also gives you time to think clearly, to strategize, to respond with purpose instead of emotion. It keeps you from burning bridges you might need later. It saves your voice for what truly matters. Silence isn't weakness, it's leadership, it's self-control. It's saying, I value my energy too much to waste it on every little fire. And while the world may not always understand it, your growth, your peace, your clarity will thank you for it. So next time you're being talked about, challenged, or provoked, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, does this deserve my voice, or does it deserve my silence? Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you know that truth doesn't always need a microphone. It only needs time. Keep your peace. Let silence do the talking. God elevates you through resistance. It's easy to believe that progress only comes through open doors, smooth paths, and constant affirmation. But the truth is, many of the most powerful promotions in life come disguised as pressure. The resistance you feel isn't always a sign that you're doing something wrong. Often, it's a sign that you're right where you need to be. Resistance is what builds muscle. In the physical world, if there's no resistance, there's no growth. The same is true in life and in faith. Every challenge you face, every obstacle that rises up against you is not just something to overcome, it's something designed to strengthen you, stretch you, and shape you. We often pray for elevation, for growth, for impact. But what we sometimes fail to realize is that growth doesn't come in comfort. It comes when we're tested. It comes when we're pushed beyond our limits. It comes when the people around us don't support us, when we're overlooked, misunderstood, or even talked about. That's resistance. And instead of running from it, you have to start recognizing it as preparation. It's in those seasons of struggle that your character is being refined. Your faith is being deepened. Your focus is being sharpened. You're being developed behind the scenes, not for where you are, but for where you're going. When life gets hard, when you're being criticized or doubted, it's tempting to ask, why me? But a better question might be, what is this preparing me for? Because the resistance you're facing now could be the very thing God is using to build the strength you'll need for the next level. Nothing is wasted. Not the pain, not the pressure, not the silence. Every part of it is working together to build something greater inside you. And sometimes the resistance isn't there to stop you. It's there to redirect you, to teach you, to humble you, to position you. Don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it's not happening on your timeline doesn't mean it's not happening at all. Sometimes God allows resistance to slow you down so you don't run ahead of His plan. Sometimes the door is closed not because you're not ready, but because the room on the other side isn't ready for you. Trust the process. Trust that what feels like resistance is actually divine redirection. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. The people talking about you, doubting you, and trying to pull you down, they're part of the resistance. But instead of letting that break you, let it build you. Let it push you deeper into your calling. Let it remind you that the greater the calling, the greater the pressure. If it were easy, everyone would walk this path. But you're chosen for something more, and being chosen means being challenged. So if you're facing resistance right now, don't quit. Don't back down. Don't lose faith. This isn't the end of your story, it's the shaping of it. You're not just going through something, you're growing through it. And on the other side of this resistance is the elevation you've been praying for. Keep standing, keep believing. Because in the resistance, God is lifting you. Your value isn't up for debate. In a world where opinions are shared freely, and social media gives everyone a voice, it can sometimes feel like your worth is being constantly measured. People will attempt to define you by your circumstances, your past, or even your failures. They will scrutinize your every move and offer their judgments like it's their right. But here's the truth, your value is not determined by anyone's opinion but your own. So often we let the words and judgments of others shape how we see ourselves. We allow the criticism, the doubts, and the comparisons to influence how we walk, how we talk, and how we carry ourselves. But in doing that, we are allowing people who have no authority over us to steal our peace, our joy, and our confidence. Your worth cannot be measured by what others say about you. It can only be defined by the truth of who you are and the purpose you were created for. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the product of your failures. You are not the reflection of the last criticism someone hurled at you. You are more than the labels others try to place on you. Your value is intrinsic, unshakable, and eternal. It doesn't come from external validation. It comes from the fact that you are here, alive, breathing, and capable of great things. It comes from the truth that you have something unique to offer the world, something no one else can replicate. You are made with purpose, equipped with potential, and destined for greatness. It doesn't matter how many people doubt you, criticize you, or try to reduce your potential. Their opinions are not a reflection of your truth. In fact, most of the time, the people who try to diminish your worth are doing so because they don't know their own value. They try to project their insecurities onto you because they can't see the greatness within themselves. So, when they try to define you, don't accept their narrative. Stand firm in the truth of who you are. One of the most freeing things you can do is detach your self-worth from other people's assessments. People may talk about you behind your back. They may try to tear you down or make you feel insignificant. But their words will never define your destiny. Your worth is not tied to their approval, their applause, or their attention. It's tied to your purpose and the fact that you were created with a vision only you can fulfill. When you understand this, you stop seeking validation from others. You stop shrinking to fit into someone else's box. You stop allowing their judgments to control how you feel about yourself. You start living authentically, unapologetically, and with confidence. You walk in your purpose, knowing that you don't need anyone's approval but your own. Your value is not negotiable. It's non-refundable. It's not for sale. It doesn't go on sale, and it doesn't depend on how others view you. Your value is set in stone by the one who created you. So next time someone tries to reduce your worth or belittle your dreams, remind yourself of this truth: I am valuable, I am worthy, and I don't need anyone's permission to shine.